Hey everybody! Happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. And for those that are new, welcome to Halo Inspirations. My name's Angel and I'm so excited you're here. So excited that you took the time to visit us here at Halo, where we give you inspirations to help you spread beauty and joy through your quilting journey. Today is Product Wednesday. So what does that mean for today? Roxanne's Glue-Baste-It. Yes, another glue. Listen, I am a new glue girl. I was always really scared to use glue. I didn't want it to, put marks on my quilts. It wasn't natural, so I always wanted to use 100% cotton. I mean, we all change, we all evolve. And I did try last month Sue Daly's Soline glue pen, and it worked phenomenally. But I also wanted to find something to help me with my binding, and I might have been able to use it, but it goes really quickly when you draw with it. And I wanted it to, last and work well with binding, and I felt like I might be going through a lot of refills. So I looked into Roxanne's, and a lot of people know about Roxanne's for application. Yes, it is very good for applique. And they have another type of bottle. If I can find a picture that I can use, I'll throw it up here. But it's an odd shaped bottle, and it has like a long skinny tip, very long and skinny. And it just drops just a little. So it works really well for applique purposes. You can also use this for applique because this has two different nozzles. There is, and when I bring you in closer, I'll show these to you, but there's a small nozzle and there's a super wide nozzle. And like I said, when I bring you in closer, I'll actually show you the nozzles and how much glue comes out on a scrap piece of fabric. But I will tell you, I did this on a practice sandwich, and I did with binding, and it worked great. But now the test is actually doing it on a full quilt, because I'd really like to know how this works. Now, why would that be important to me? I have began within the last, year, I've been doing a lot more machine binding. It saves time, and I feel like it will last longer, especially quilts that you tend to want to use instead of being like a wall hanging or something you send to be judged. At any rate, when you usually do machine binding, a lot of times you will machine on the back first and then pull it around to the front so that you know those stitches are nice and pretty. And I will be honest, when I did that, instead of matching the thread to my binding, I would tend to match it to whatever I used to quilt, because I felt like the stitches started to look more like part of the quilting. And I never knew what I was getting on the back. When I was stitching down the front, I never understood, you can't see the back. So you never know what you're getting. You can hope, and I'm sure with practice and a little diligence, I might have gotten even better and better. I did see improvement, but I just wanted to find something that would allow me to put the binding on the front like you do when you hand bind. You put the binding on the front, you flip it over to the back, and then you stitch your hand binding. I wanted to be able to stitch in the ditch and not have to worry too much about what was going on in the back. Glue can help you with that. There is still a learning curve. I am learning that there's still a learning curve with it, but it allows you to stitch in the ditch to make it pretty, match the thread, so whatever happens on the back isn't the end of the world, as long as you don't dip into your quilt, right? If you stay on that binding, the glue will hold it and help with that. So what I'm going to do, and I'm very excited about this, because as you see, this is my bookshelf quilt. I have, my content calendar is 6 to 8 weeks in advance, so I knew this was coming and I knew that I wanted to try it on here. So we're finally going to get it binded, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you in closer, and I'm going to show you the bottom side, the back side, on how will prep with the glue so that you can actually see that. And then you'll watch me stitch this. I'll start to stitch, and when I get down to this corner, down to this side, I will show you the stitching. loving this, absolutely loving this right now. We will see what happens with this quilt. Now I have got my binding already on and I have pressed it so that it is flat. So let me bring you in closer and let's get this started. Let me show you about Roxanne's Glue-Baste-It glue. So I will tell you I am upside down from you, but I wanted you to have the best view to be able to see this. So here is Roxanne's two-sided applicator bottle. It is 1.5 fluid ounces. I wanted to say, I didn't say it earlier, it is water soluble, so it will wash out. It has a pH level of neutral, so it won't start to break down your fabric if it was acidic. And it does dry clear. How fun is that? So the small side you can use for applique, okay? So it's pretty tiny. And when you squeeze it out, you can see that you have some control, and you can do skinnier, you can do lighter, but that's about what you're going to get, which I think is great for binding. The other side they say you can use for the sashing with Quilt As You Go. I haven't done this yet, so let's see how much comes out on this. Yeah, that's a lot more. You still have some control. You can squeeze harder and have it come out more, or you can squeeze less and have it come out. But it's definitely more than the other. Bring it a little closer for you, and so you can see the different levels. Okay, so I'm going to use the skinny side. Now, one of the things with the other bottle, they do give you something to put in the nozzle so that it keeps it from blocking. I might put a needle in there, but I don't know that you'll be able to see, but inside the cap, there's actually a place that comes at a little piece of plastic that goes into the hole. It's not very deep, but it is there, so it can help prevent any clogging. And it actually has one on that side too, which I thought was really interesting. All right, so like I said, I'm going to do this on my quilt. All right, and what I plan on doing is this is the bottom edge of my quilt. Okay, it's shorter than the length, which I thought was good. And I'm going to start in the middle here. I want you to be able to see this. Let me get this organized just a bit. I'm going to actually iron down too, because I really want it to stay put and be dry before I take it to the sewing machine. Now I've got a lot to glue, so I'm not going to do this whole thing on camera. I just want to show you an area, and this is the back side, that is the front side. I've pressed this down so that it stayed nice and flat. And I'm actually going to take the glue and I'm going to go inside of this seam. Okay. Now the idea is that you can't see it because it's pretty well, it's a copper brown color to match my binding, but there is a line out here and I want to be sure that my quilt covers that line. Okay. Oh, that's what I'm attempting to do here. And I can see the line, and if you're gluing, you'll be able to see the line. And then I'm just basically going to take this binding and I'm going to fold it on top, making sure I'm covering that line, and I'm going to press it. Now, I'm pretty messy, so I actually have on board, let me show you this. Just want to make sure it's straight. All right. A piece of fabric that I don't mind getting dirty in case I spread the glue, because I'm a messy person. So I'm covering it up, gluing it down. I'm actually going to move this over just a bit because the corner, we're going to talk about the corner. Okay. Put some more glue down. Move it over just a little bit more. There we go. All right. I'm definitely going to get some glue in here. Okay, now when it comes to the corner, I want a pretty mitered corner, and the glue should be able to help me with that. But remember, the fold's going that way, so I want the fold on the back to go the opposite direction, okay? That helps you get that miter under control. So that means if I want it to come this way, this is gonna have to come down first, and this will lay on top. This side will lay on top, okay? So I'm actually gonna lay a little bit of glue over here. All right, I'm going to fold it over. Make sure I'm thinking correctly. Put that fold in. There we go. All right. Get this on top. Give it a nice little press. Hold it down in that corner just a bit. And if you really wanted to, you could actually put some, here, I'll do that now. Put some glue on here. And like I said, you're really able to manipulate this corner so that you can get a beautiful miter. I'm going to come up here just a little bit, get this, just so you can see this corner. You can see how pretty that miter is. Beautiful miter. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to give it a little press. And there we go. And it's staying down, guys. It is on there. It is in it to win it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here and do this around the entire quilt. And when I come back, I will have stitched to the bottom, and I will let you see that it's still attached and how well it helps, because I'll be stitching in the ditch from the front, okay? So I will definitely see you all in just a bit. So I didn't start where I needed to be the last area to stitch on. I didn't do the math right? I didn't start in the right place. So I have turned the corner. I'm at the bottom of my quilt, and I wanted to show you this. So I am stitching a ditch, and it's working great. It's absolutely working great. I will tell you, the glue is holding it phenomenally, and I'm going to show you a little bit more on that later. But when you stitch in the ditch, just like I showed in prior videos, you want to stitch in the valley. Now, what does that mean? So we have mountains here, and we have valleys. The mountain is the side that it's higher. So this side is much higher than this side. This is the valley. This is your mountain. If you stitch on the valley and you get into that ditch on the valley side, the mountain will go over top of it and help hide those threads. So that's why you want to do this. And it's working really, really well. So not the easiest thing to do here on camera, but that's what I've been doing. And everybody's walking foot is different. I am using my walking foot. What I'm doing is I am lining up this area on this part of my walking foot. So as long as this is a straight line, I'm getting in on the valley side, and I'm getting in the ditch, okay? Now, like I said, this is kind of hard to do while being on camera. However, and I won't sit here and stitch the whole time with you like this. This is I'm super slow because I'm having a hard time seeing. But I'm just lining that up. getting it stitched. And I will show you how it looks here at the end. And I'm probably going to speed this up just a little bit, so you won't hear me talking because I'll just speed up the video. Okay, I'm getting close to the corner, and I want to tell you, this one's done right. I have two that weren't done right, and oh no, this one's not. Yeah, no, this one's not either. Okay, so see how the fold is going that direction? If we look at this end, it's going the same direction. You want them to be on the opposite. The only one I did right is the one I did with y'all. So it is what it is. I'm just getting it done. But whenever you go to your corners, you want to definitely go one stitch onto the corner. Oh, y'all can't see that. When I turn it, I'll show you. So once you hit, and I did hit it. So once you do, you want to lift your presser foot if you have the needle down function. If you don't, put your needle down, because what you want to do is you want to lift your presser foot and you want to be able to turn your quilt, okay? So that then you'll be stitching inside this area again. However, because you stitched on top of the corner, you're not going to be straight. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself back on line so that wherever you are lined up to stitch in the ditch, that you can get that done. All right. So I promised you I would show you. All right. Whoop, I'm so sorry, I hit the camera. So, and here's the truth of truths. You can't see my stitches. Why? Because I stitched inside of the ditch. See, I'm not quite what you would think in there, but because I stitched on the valley, you can't see them. The back side, beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. As far as corners go, and this one, I barely made it. It's right there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I was able to make that turn, and that's what it looks like on the other side. So I made the turn right there and then continued stitching. Okay. This is working absolutely wonderfully. I'm super excited about this. The glue is staying down and it's allowing me to stitch in the ditch. So on the front side, it looks really good. And on the back side, I've got this beautiful stitch, and I'm stitching so that the line that was there before is not available. It's hidden. This is working great. I love this product so far. So let me get this done and I will come back at you. And we'll talk about a little bit of stuff, a little bit more about using this for getting your binding down. But until then, I'm going to get this done and I will see you all in just a bit. One of the things in the past that people had suggested to me was to show some of the stitches when I'm done, especially when I do stitch in the ditch. And as you can see, they look pretty darn good. This method I am absolutely loving. Now I will say, yep, remember I did the corner backwards. But all of the corners do have this area right here open, because whenever you stitch like this, you don't go, when you hand bind, you can actually do this as you go. What I'm going to do is do a hand blind stitch on each side of every corner. The reason is I worry about it getting snagged on something and ripping, or putting some unnecessary tension on those stitches. So I'm definitely going to be doing that on all 4 corners. Plus I still have to do the bind down my sleeve. But as far as the glue goes, this was amazing. And I will say, here's the back side. Whoops, sorry, hit the camera there again. And if you match those threads, it does really, really well. I think the biggest learning curve for me was being able to fold down on top of the glue and making this line straight. But other than that, this was easy. It solved the solution. It allowed a easier method that I think finishes much prettier and much more complete looking. So there are the stitches. Gotta love it. Get you some glue if this is something that you struggle with too, because it is absolutely wonderful. I'll see y'all in just a second. All right, so if you are one like me who does machine binding and you've been looking for something to make it easier and have a more nicer finish, I highly recommend this Roxanne's Glue-Baste. It is awesome, absolutely awesome. Now I do, like I said, I do enjoy the Sue Daly Sew Line glue, and I think they just work well for different purposes. This definitely is on my list for all my machine binding, that is for sure. And like I said, a lot of people do use this for applique. So, but then the Sue Daly Sew Line glue would be really wonderful for applique also. If you enjoyed this video and if it was helpful for you, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it, and make sure you share it with others. Somebody else might need a little help getting through a more positive solution for their finishes, right? And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them down below in the comment section. Or if you have any comments, I'd love to know if you've used this and what you've used it for, because there's always new ideas out there that we all should be sharing with each other, and that we usually do as quilters. Feel free to drop those if you do have any questions or just want to come by and chit-chat a little bit about some Roxanne Glue-Baste-It on Facebook. I will be there live today at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for a short period of time, just to answer any questions or add any other things that I may feel are good and pertinent to this video that I may have, when I watch the editing, I sometimes realize I should talk about something else. So sometimes I put those in there too. We'd love to have you come by and see us there today, 3 p.m. But guys, next week is another Christmas Wednesday. So I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Look forward to seeing you later today. But until next time, may y'all continue to be inspired, productive, and joyful, and never stop making your dreams and quilting come true. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see y'all soon.